Before we jump in, I want you to tell me in the comments, what's your cheapest carnivore meal right now? Is it ground beef, eggs, bacon, or something else? So I love seeing what real people are eating on a budget. People think eating carnivore has to be expensive, like grass-fed, grass-finished lamb and ribeyes every night, or like wagyu and giant tomahawks, and lots of butter, but that's not real life. I'm a real person and I'm feeding real people, and this is how I actually eat carnivore on a normal person budget. This is cheap carnivore for real people, finally. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to eat this way without spending a fortune. Real life carnivore looks like ground beef, eggs and bacon, hot dogs, lunch meat, whatever's on sale that week and what you like. It's not some $30 steak every night. It's not fancy cuts and not specialty products. You really don't need those things. Honestly, this budget version is so much faster, it's easier, and it tastes just as good. So let's start with the 3 staples that make carnivore the most affordable. So number 1 is ground beef. Ground beef it's just really the backbone of budget carnivore. So buy whatever fat percentage you like. I tend to do, 80-20. It's versatile, it's filling. You can turn it into endless meals. I'm going to show you that in a moment. So number 2, eggs. Eggs are still one of the cheapest proteins on the planet. I prefer chicken eggs, but any kind of egg. You can scramble them, you can fry them, you can boil them. I'm not a big fan of boiled eggs. You can bake them. I figured out how to bake eggs in the air fryer. They're so versatile, they're so cheap, and they're so fast to make. I'm not as much of a boiled egg fan as I used to be. I used to love hard-boiled eggs, but now if I'm going to boil an egg, it's going to be soft-boiled. What about you? How do you like your eggs? All right, so number 3, bacon, okay? Bacon can totally be budget-friendly. We go to Sam's Club and buy it in bulk, usually the thick cut. We do get the Members Mark. It's much cheaper than the name brand. So my family likes crispy bacon, but I like mine more chewy. I know, don't judge. It's just how I am. Let me know if you like chewy bacon. I think if you've seen some of my videos, you know that I like chewy bacon. Second, so cheese. Cheese is one of the easiest ways to add fat. It also adds flavor without spending a ton of money. So here is a money-saving trick. So pre-shredded cheese costs a little bit more and you don't get as much bang for your buck. And I only know this because I started buying blocks of cheese and shredding them myself because they don't melt as well. People were talking about the anti-caking powders and I thought I'll just give it a try. So if you shred your own block of cheese, it does taste great. It saves money actually. And I found this little crank. It's a rotary cheese grater. I found it on Amazon. It's under $25 right now because it's the Black Friday craze. So it's totally unnecessary. You can still get in great shape and healthy by buying pre-shredded cheese. And this just makes the cheese, if you shred it by hand, it makes it a lot of fun. I will link it below. The other thing that I use as a kitchen tool or a gadget that I just love, I use these scissors a lot. I do not like to touch raw meat. I don't like to touch, I don't like to crumble up bacon. I don't know, I have some kind of a sensory thing with food. I don't like to get food under my nails, okay? So I got these little kitchen scissors and they're so handy and they're very sharp. So they do have a guard on them. You need to be aware of that. But if you have crispy bacon, there's really, if it's really crispy, you just can crumble it up. But if they're chewy bacon like I like, then you put them in there and I'll just show you right here. So they're simple, they're affordable. They're actually on sale and they're under $10. They're gonna be linked below too, but you don't need any of those kinds of things. I use an air fryer every day, at least 2 times a day. So those are just some carnivore kitchen essentials for my kitchen. You can do everything else with a pan, an oven, a stove, a knife. You don't need a lot. It's not required. They're not required. They're just fun, cheap little kitchen gadgets that make my life easier and they're very affordable. So that's it. Take it or leave it. I want to show you my real weekly haul. So I have ground beef. We have a cow, and so we have meat in the freezer. Eggs. Now I do love to get local, eggs from people, but if I have to buy, this is the brand I buy in the store when I can find them. Bacon, I talked about bacon. We get a lot of bacon and it lasts a long time, you know, in the freezer. Of course, butter. I do tend to prefer salted Kerrygold butter. And I also get that at Sam's Club. Buying in bulk makes it a little cheaper. Sometimes I get sausage, lunch meat, hot dogs. I need to find a little bit cleaner hot dogs, but I do have hot dogs. Lunch meat, totally fine. I would love to get some bologna for like fried bologna. My grandmother used to make that for us. I loved it. So when she would ask us what we wanted for breakfast, it would always be eggs and like lunch meat ham or fried bologna. Have you ever had fried bologna? Don't knock it till you try it. It's great and it's affordable. These are simple, affordable, real people tips, real life tips. All right, so now let me show you what I actually make with these basics. These are fast, cheap carnivore meals you can throw together in minutes. Okay, so taco bowl. This is just beef, some of the seasoning, and maybe some cheese. I would add sour cream. It just depends on your level of tolerance for dairy, whatever. So easy, they're so easy. Next is like a breakfast bowl. These are very versatile. You could put anything in that. Ground beef, scrambled eggs, that lunch meat ham, crispy bacon, maybe sausage. It tastes like a diner breakfast. It's way cheaper, it's way faster. You know exactly what's in it. Now, a meat lover's bowl. I did something a little different. I did beef, bacon, and then chicken. But you could do chicken or sausage. Everything just goes in one bowl. Cheese would really make it stand out, or dairy. So a lasagna bowl, I really like this one. It's ground beef, it's cottage cheese and Parmesan. I did shred the Parmesan myself, so it's so much flavor without a hefty price tag. Batch cook on Saturdays, and I wasn't feeling so great, so I did batch cook 2 pounds of ground beef at a time. That's usually about what I do. So I cook it once. We can eat it multiple times a week. This keeps me out of the drive-thru and out of the sugary breakfast trap. You know, those are tips for people starting out, just trying to get more protein, whole foods in their diet. You don't have to be a carnivore. You can say whatever you want. These are just some tips. Air fryer makes this lifestyle so much easier, especially for me because I don't like to cook. So I dump in the meat, the beef, I hit start, I walk away, I can do other things, and I'm done. Here's where carnivore can get expensive fast. If you're trying to, thinking you only need fancy steaks every night or novelty snacks, that's a lot, or lots of ingredients for specialty recipes. There's certainly a place for that, but it's not every day, at least not in my house. You don't need any of that. You can do this by just going to the store, coming home, and making it. So stick to the basics. Real food is carnivore. Real food is already carnivore. You don't have to do a lot of these, fancy things. You don't have to do anything. And maybe you're not a full carnivore, like I said. Maybe you're just carnivore-ish. Maybe you're keto. Maybe you're low carb. Maybe you're animal-based. There's lots of names. Maybe you just want to get ways of eating more real food, real whole food. Maybe you just want to get tips for how to do that in your day. And that's what matters. It's not the labels, not the dogma. Just taking steps towards improving your health, getting better, a better health, a happier life. So if you want to get started on a budget, here's what works. I've done this for almost 3 years. You just start with ground beef, start with eggs, buy bacon on sale, buy hot dogs, buy lunch meat if that's what you want, buy cheese, buy shredded cheese, pre-shredded cheese. Use your air fryer. I love my air fryer. And you keep your meals simple, batch cooking. Don't chase perfection. It's a fool's errand. Eat real food and do it on repeat. Carnivore does not have to be expensive. It can be simple, it can be cheap and realistic for real people. Finally. If you want more cheap carnivore meals for real people, check out the playlist linked below. Check out this playlist linked somewhere. It'll be here somewhere. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.